Namo Phat. Thanks so much for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body, in my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I'm determined not to use alcohol or any other items that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I am aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. For our Dharma lessons, we've been reading Ajahn Munindo's book, Unexpected Freedom. Today we're continuing in a chapter, Meeting Our Anger, with Facing the Consequences. Sometimes, after we have experienced an outburst of passionate rage and the fires have subsided, we just go on to distract ourselves, trying not to think about it anymore. That approach to dealing with our faults does not work. The reason we have become caught up in anger in the first place is because there is something in us we have not yet recognized. At such times, we can also go against the inclination to avoid what we are feeling and instead turn towards it and fully receive it. Something within us might fear that to do so will involve the risk of being taken over by it. It is true that we need to approach this task sensitively and skillfully, but with right practice, we can equip ourselves with the ability to fully face the consequences of our heedlessness. Those consequences are painful. If we are consistent and non-judgmental, these same painful feelings gradually give us the message that to allow ourselves to follow this energy, no matter how tempting it appears, leads to making things worse. We are losing out. When we begin to get a feeling for the integrity of this practice, we become more willing to open to our weakness. Having survived the humiliation of losing our composure, we can afterwards stop and reflect and get to the point of acknowledging with humility, I actually lost it there, didn't I? I got caught up in the heat. It can be helpful at this point to mentally rerun the drama. I might notice that the fire gets stirred up in the belly, and because I miss it there, it continues upward and invades my heart, then my head, and then starts coming out through the mouth. Just this kind of contemplation can prepare us so that the next time we are about to be swept away in a firestorm, we remember ourselves. We can recall what happened the last time we followed the passion, and this time around, find other ways of channeling it. Go jogging. Jog until you are exhausted. Take a cold shower. Do some yoga. Do walking meditation, quickly if necessary. Do anything rather than acting on the anger, letting it control you, letting it drive you into making more unskillful karma. If we try to contemplate what is happening before we have cooled down properly, then we might become caught up again and continue to dwell on the event thinking, I was in the right, I was perfectly justified, and so on. But even then, But even that is something we can learn from if we are willing. Some physical activity might be necessary initially as a way of dissipating the energy so that we can be in a suitable state to consider what happened. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Namo Adida Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.